Hey guys, and this is a important announcement I have to make, because I just need to get it off my chest, because it's just annoying me a ton. So basically I had to take a trip outside, and I decided to stop by the local GameStop. But before we get into all that, because this trip has been the worst as far as the point of the video, and on this trip I saw many people, despite there being a $1,000 fine, not wearing the damn mask. Now, what does this have to do with anything right now? Well, there's a pandemic going on. You might be also asking, why is there a World of Warcraft PvP going on in the background that I will film later, because I was so annoyed I just jumped out of the shower to do this and didn't even get to playing the games. Because real heroes, like rogues and stuff in World of Warcraft, they wear masks. You know why Wars of Draenor is considered maybe one of the worst expansions in World of Warcraft's history as far as content is concerned? Because look at them. None of them are wearing masks. And you know what? The only one that was like a good guy, which I'm pretty sure is the wolf one, he's the only good guy. Why? Because he technically kind of has a mask. That's not how you wear your mask, over your head or whatever that wolf thing is, but, at least he has the spirit. He's got the idea. But otherwise, no social distancing, no mask. You know why Battle for Azeroth is the worst expansion in World of Warcraft ever? To most people, because of how bad Blizzard messed it up. It's because if you look at the box art, they're right in each other's face. What happened to six feet apart? There's no 6 feet apart, and they both don't have a mask. The Alliance has like a mask thing, but it's not fully around his head. It's like wearing your mask like this. Those people walk around the streets like this, and they're breathing right through their nose, right in everybody's faces. And they're like, oh, I'm protecting myself. No. And then another thing is like, alright. So what is the best expansion of World of Warcraft, in my opinion? Wrath of Lich King. It was tons of fun. Wintergrass, all that good stuff. And you know what makes it even better? You see that Lich King right there? He has a helmet on. But it's a nice thick helmet. So, he's wearing a mask. That's what makes it the greatest. That's what makes it the most fun expansion. Blizzard, give us Wrath of the Lich King pre-nerf Wintergrass. But anyway, beside the point. Going to GameStop today. I walked into GameStop just to take a look at the clearance. And I was like, oh, I'm in GameStop. Alright, there's only one person ahead of me. He leaves, whatever. And then the guy's trying to get me a sick deal or something because it wasn't in the store at the moment. So he's on the phone. And the guy walks in. And I'm like, alright, there's only me and one other person. He has his mask on. What does he do? He walks up to the counter with his mask. Goes, there's the panel. The panel does nothing anyway in the GameStop. They had the panel. Glass panel, what does he do? He steps to the side of the panel and promptly takes off his mask and then gets into like a mini argument over why the new Xbox Series X whatever coming out is digital only and he can't buy games, you can't put his disc in the digital only system. And he's talking like a mile a minute of how he has to pre-order the Demon Souls and he has to pre-order the $70 Demon Souls for $90 or whatever. And he's talking with his mask on his chin. Oh my god. And I have to sit there, like halfway across the store, because I don't want to get sick. And he's arguing with the GameStop guy about the pre-order. And then the thing is, you don't want to say anything because people are getting killed arguing over masks. So I kind of felt bad for the employee, but whatever, that's a whole different story. But at the same time, I'm sitting there like, he has no mask. Seriously? Why would you walk into the store, promptly take off your mask, and now it's time to talk to the employee really right smack there? And then it just got worse. It got worse and worse and worse. So I'm running all the way to the train station or whatever, scootering to the train station. I got a scooter. I've lost a ton of weight. It's cool. I love the scooter, so I just take the train, save some money on the bus. But the problem is, you get on the train. So not only did I finally get a seat after like an hour of riding up and downhill and being exhausted, which is why I took the shower, like 2 crackhead-looking people start kind of sitting right next to me. And one of the girls is kind of like somewhat gagging on something. And I'm sitting there horrified like, bro. The question wasn't, where is your mask? It was, why is your mask on your chin? So I got up and left. And then I'm like, okay, the train shouldn't be too packed. It's not rush hour. There's not that many people in school, which shouldn't be open in my opinion. But we get on the train. And what happens? What do you think happens? I get on the train. I'm like, alright, cool, there's no way around me. I sit on the side. Then as we start going towards the stop, we pass the first high school stop. Now, I don't know why, I mean, I kind of know why, but no surprise, all the high schoolers get on the train with no mask. And, those little super spreaders, I guess, all those cool kids, I guess, don't watch South Park, and I guess maybe they seen it and they just laughed at it, and, all the kids getting killed because they weren't wearing a mask, and they're super spreaders and stuff, but, they ain't wearing a mask. And then even worse, it just gets worse. So I'm like, okay, they're at the other side, it should be good, because, the door opens on the train sometimes, whatever. And then, a lady gets on, and then I turn, and I see a lady. She's on the phone. I don't even think she was a high schooler, she's probably like 20-something. She's on the phone like, with no mask. I'm like, are you serious? And everybody's kind of just looking up and staring at her like this. Because they don't want to say anything, but it's like, really? You're gonna get on the phone now, have a full-blown conversation with your girlfriends? Without a mask? I mean, she got ready to take a trip to the Shadowlands? Like, I feel like WoW Shadowlands, if they've relayed WoW Shadowlands, just so Blizzard can get as many people into the Shadowlands as possible. So it works out, so it gets a lot of sales or whatever, metaphorically. Because, Shadowlands, for those of you who don't play WoW, that's where people go when they're dead. And I guess Blizzard really needs to fill up the Shadowlands before, that's why they gotta polish it, make sure Shadowlands is gonna be very good. But anyway, then even worse. You think it can't get worse than that? So I get on, so then this lady gets on. I guess she's high school, I couldn't tell, she was like a high school, I don't know, she's a small person, or I don't know what she was. She was young, that was basically the point. But anyway, she gets on, and she has no mask. Okay, what a surprise, whatever, I'm not looking at her, blah, blah, blah. Then I proceed to get up, because, hey, look, my stop. And then I realize, oh, look, it's her stop. And I'm like, what's she doing? She goes from halfway across the train. There's millions of doors with no people next to it. To go right next to me. And what does she do right before she goes next to me? She coughs. She coughs twice. She's like, and I'm like, what are you doing? And I'm just sitting there horrified. And she's like, yeah. And then she goes on her phone. She's like, yeah, blah, 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 blah. And then she goes, oh my god. And then she starts singing. After she gets off the phone, she starts singing on the train with the doors closed, like not even 6 feet away from me. And I'm sitting there like, what the? Like, come on. I'm like, do you realize you have to wear a mask? Do you realize you shouldn't be singing? I'm like, these people are so stupid, man. They're so stupid. And another thing is like, oh, like, I'm not gonna get into politics, but they're like, oh, I hate the president or whatever because he does this, and that, and he's promoting, don't wear a mask, the pandemic doesn't exist, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, oh, I hate the president, but there's a party at 11 o'clock on Saturday night? And it's like, really? So, a lot of people I know, they're partying, you do you or whatever, but when you go out in public, wear your damn mask. So I don't want the party stuff to come to me. No, absolutely not. So hopefully people will get the PSA, because I feel like this is unpreventable, because no matter who the president is, no matter how much people say, you can't fix stupid, and you really just can't, man. Like, I live in one of the most progressive places in the world, whatever you want to call it, and there's even a $1,000 fine. If you refuse to wear the mask, you will get a $1,000 fine. So I just sit on the train, I'm like, that's $20,000 worth of people. That's $15,000 worth of people. Oh, that's a fine. Why are you in this store? Yeah, like, come on. And of course, I see nobody anywhere. The cops supposed to enforce this. Cops don't exist apparently, but then again, that's a whole other story. So. And this rant, just wear the damn mask. Just wear.